Do that over. Hey everyone, and welcome to Smart Moves. We are back for our second deck showcase. I'm Setsuko, joined by my co-host Slicky, who got drastically brighter. Today we're going to be covering Priests, but before we get into all that, we're going to hit a couple of news items. Just bang these out real quick. So there was an update to Shutterwalk and Life Drinker. Shutterwalk was changed so that its battle cry will be the amount of battle cries it can reproduce in a single game will be capped at 20, as well as the speed of the animations on those battle cries has been increased, and then also the speed of the animation on Life Drinker has been increased. So Shutterwalk is faster now and can only do up to 20 things. So there's that. We're going to have a new holiday coming up in just a few days. It's Noble Garden, and this is a celebration of all cute bunnies in World of Warcraft and Hearthstone and those kinds of things. So this is going to be from May 9th to May 13th. When you log in, you will get a golden egg napper and a golden Devilsaur egg. Maybe I should have done my deck next week. Anyway, and then also there's going to be a every bunny get in here brawl, where each turn you're going to get like an egg on the board, and then you use cards to paint them different colors, and that makes them do different things. So it should be a more interesting brawl for us to play this time around, and you get a couple free stuff, free things. Nothing too crazy. I mean, hopefully we can disenchant these Goldens and they don't have to permanently be a part of our library. Like Marin.
Is it not kind of weird that are there bunnies at all in Hearthstone?
You know, I thought that Totem Cruncher was going to be a bunny, but it's not. That's about the closest thing. I don't know that there are any. But there are eggs, so...
Seems weird to highlight the fact that there are no bunnies in something when you're trying to make it about bunnies. But anyways.
Well, you paint the eggs, and I think if you don't paint an egg, it hatches into a bunny. It's kind of the thing.
Cool.
So
I want a bunny.
Well,
okay.
Next expansion, we gotta get a 0-mana 1/1 bunny.
They already did a beast. They need to do a 1/1 dragon. Or a 1/1 mech.
Oh, yeah. Alright, well, that's the news. So today... Oh, no, wait. We got Monster Hunt to briefly talk about. I know all the Monster Hunt I've played has been on stream, so if you've watched any of our videos, then you'll have seen me playing on Twitch or seen those videos on YouTube. A couple of funny highlights. I've won with 2 out of 4 classes. I think it's a lot of fun. I haven't played anymore just because I've been busy and I've been wanting to finish it off on stream, so I'll probably be doing that in the next couple of days sometime, maybe. I don't know. I'm in the middle of trying to buy a house, so we'll see, if I get free time in there for that. So, but what about you? How's Monster Hunt been going for you?
It's been going pretty well. The only thing I don't like is Toki. I think Toki's terrible. I think Toki... I don't know. I don't know what it is about playing as Toki, but I feel like she's naturally really unlucky. And normally if I re-roll the turn, I'll end up with a worse turn than the turn I started with. And then most of her buckets of cards are get more random stuff.
Yeah.
You can't really build a cohesive deck off of RNG. Casino Mage has never been super powerful, so... but I finished with 3 out of 4 classes. I just have to finish with Toki. And, yeah. But the rest of them I thought were pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm glad that I finished up Toki the first time through. When I played her, I hated it. Mostly because I didn't like the buckets of cards they gave me choices for. And a lot of the treasure cards I got were either really boring or they were old ones from Dungeon Run. So I was like, man, I hate this. And then the next run through, I got some elemental synergies and was able to keep picking elemental synergy buckets. So I had an elemental deck instead of a random bullshit deck, and I won. I was like, okay, cool, I'm done. That was a lot better than the first one I did. Glad I don't have to do it again, because, you know, like, honestly, the two most boring hero powers out of the 4 for me are the 2 that I've beaten the monster hunt with. So I'm like, okay, I've only got, you know, fun stuff to look forward to. So
Which two did you beat it with?
I beat it with the Houndmaster and Toki.
Let's see, Houndmaster. Yeah, Houndmasters was boring because there aren't that many like cool tricks you can do with hounds.
You like have to get the treasures to make that one any fun, I think.
Yeah, and the only one I saw was give your hounds +2 attack. Are there other ones?
I'm sure there are. I can't remember if I saw any when I was doing my run, but yeah, I feel like you've got to have treasures for that one. Whereas the cannon, you know, is just kind of cool on itself. If you can actually utilize it, then there's games where you almost never utilize it.
Yeah,
And
cannon is crazy. If you get the chance, buff the cannon. The cannon's insane.
yeah. And then the tracker. I like the tracker hero power a lot.
I do too. There's a lot of cool tricks you can do with it.
I think it's just really, you know, you really start to think about, oh, okay, do I want to play this? You know, is it a neutral card, so it's not going to be in my pool of stuff I can pick, and just being able to get like just infinite, you know,
Rocks.
yeah, rocks or
Do I just want 100 rocks, or do I want to try and get a Sinister Strike every turn?
right.
Yeah, there's cool
Yeah.
stuff you can do with it.
All right, so today we are talking about priests. So before we get into our decks, we are going to just talk about our impressions with priest in general. We've had 2 weeks this time around to work with the class because we decided to forego doing priest last week for a couple of reasons. Monster Hunt came out, we were busy. You know, I just streamed some Monster Hunt, and also, I mean, we're having trouble coming up with priest decks. You know, the purpose of Smart Moves, our goal is to showcase decks for every class and try to utilize the cards from the new expansion in those decks, and also not just parrot the super popular decks that everybody already knows about. You know, and put something out that is, you know, moderately competitive. Doesn't need to be, you know, tier 1, 2, 3, but, you know, we shouldn't be just endlessly losing games with these decks. And I've found it really hard to do that with Priest. And instead of monologuing here, I'll pitch it over to Slicky and tell me your impressions on Priest and your experience with trying to craft a deck, and then we'll swing it back over here.
I think I made 4 different priest decks trying to find something that worked. I remember, I think it was Kibler talked about this at some point. Just that priest itself has, its basic cards are really weak. So how strong priest is depends mostly on the strength of the expansions. And since this is kind of Lady in White's obviously a really powerful card, but aside from that, a lot of the other cards, they weren't as good. They didn't carry Priest as much as I thought they would. And now that Draconid Operative is out of rotation, it's a really hard thing to do in Standard. I don't know, because you usually do things in Wild.
Yeah.
If it was any easier for you. But I had a lot of trouble making a deck that could win at all on ladder. And I eventually made one, and then I started swapping out 1 or 2 cards at a time to make it more competitive, and I ended up making it less competitive. And I had to completely gut the first deck that I made to actually get it to end up working. So now it's just kind of a boring tempo deck.
Right. And that's different. So for me in Wild, I think, and I may be wrong here, but my general impression is a lot of the cards for Dragon Priest came from the set that rotated out, or from the sets there. And Priest, a lot of the decks in Priest that are being played, that are powerful, have been made in the past year. And because of that, it seems like those are the archetypes that work. You got Big Priest, you got Spiteful Priest, you have Dragon Priest if you're still in Wild, you had Razakis Priest, what's the other? Resurrection Priest. Like, those are all, like, kind of big archetypes for Priest. The Inner Fire Priest is another one. And, like, when I went to try to make a deck, I was just like, man, I was trying to hunt for cards that would let me do something that didn't fall directly into one of those archetypes somehow, and it seemed pretty much impossible to do that without creating a complete and total meme deck. Especially when you're trying to incorporate new cards from the expansion. And the unfortunate reality, I think, is that I only ended up including, like 2 cards from the new expansion, like not a lot. I did have a card in there that we'll talk about, but I ended up taking it out because, like, you can only meme so hard, right? We don't want to just make total meme decks that we just lose every single time, but it was hard. So this week, since it was my pick, sort of, we're going to be taking a look at Slicky's deck first.
Mm-hmm.
So hop in here, and this is going to be a standard deck. I'm going to pop the list up on the screen here.
Pop it up there.
Boom. So this is called Root Down. Tell me about it.
Okay, like I said, I had to gut the deck. Originally it was called Cubed Root, which I thought was a really clever name, because it used cubes to make multiple Splitting Fester roots. And anytime I could actually get that combo off, you would just win, because there's no way a person can deal with 2 Splitting Fester roots and all of the Fester roots babies. Like, it's impossible unless you have Mass Dispel and, like, AoE. But there's just too many things that happen. But I had to cut that, and a bunch of other things because it was too slow. It would just get eaten up by all of the tempo decks. So I had to put in a ton of AoE, what's left. See, now with Priest, since Dragonfire Potion's gone, and Shadow Word Horror is gone, and Pint-Sized Potion is gone, you really only have Holy Nova and Duskbreaker, and if you play Duskbreaker, then you have to make it a Dragon deck.
Yeah.
So I had to take out Duskbreaker, and I had to take out all my dragons because I didn't want it to be a dragon deck, because then it's just the same deck that everybody else has that's playing Priest. So it's mostly some really strong early game, and then you try to kind of like outlast your opponent with Coffin Crasher, Splitting Fester Root. I actually just put in one more Coffin Crasher and took out one of the Splitting Fester Roots, and you're kind of setting up to like tempo out the Coffin Crasher, get the Fester Root online, and then I have Mirage Callers to make multiples of the Splitting Fester Roots if you can get both of them off. That's pretty good, but if not, you can play Tempo Mirage Caller for like Shadow Ascendant, or Northshire Cleric, or Coffin Crasher. So it has a bunch of different functionality in the deck. And then most of the other like spell cards are mostly just control cards to last until the late game.
Yeah.
I took out Divine Hymn, which is a really good card, because a lot of times it was like, if you were already losing, you were just going to lose, because decks right now are so fast. So I ended up with Squashling instead. And Squashling is a really good card late game, but because of Token Paladin being so strong right now, a lot of people are running like Wild Pyromancer or other 1 damage AoEs, so a lot of times they'll just clear your board. But that's the deck in a nutshell.
Alright. Well, let's go ahead and queue up a match. I will spectate you, and we'll see how this plays out.
I'll do a causal, casual match, I guess. I've been playing it a little bit on ladder, but I've only got like 35% win rate with it. So, but then again, I haven't been playing ladder at all because I've been working on finals, so I also don't know the decks I'm playing against. So, let me crack open a beer so I can feel better about losing this game.
This is also one of those situations where I feel like, you know, when it comes to what do you think you can do to improve this deck, it's going to be like, put spitefulls in it and just like just make it a typical one. So what are we keeping on this mulligan? What are we looking for?
I'm assuming that he's some version of Token Paladin, even or odd, so I'm looking for my early game, Spirit Lash, or Holy Nova. He is not even or odd. Maybe he's control. He is middle.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and try and tempo that out. I know that you can't play Rallying yet, so maybe it'll stay alive for a turn. Nope. See, can trade 3/3 into the 2. So let's see. Do I want to just take the face damage?
If you take the face damage, I mean, what are you waiting for turn 3?
To play Northshire and Shadow Ascendant to get a 2/4 and a 2/2 on the board.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess I'm just gonna do that. The real problem is on turn 4, we're gonna have to deal with Gentle Megasaur probably, and then we're just going to lose. Call to Arms. Great.
Okay. Is someone injured? You are the Shadow's puppet.
It's 2 anti-synergy to use Call to Arms.
I don't think I have. I think these are my only 2 1 and 2 drops. No, I've got Crystalline Oracle, but like getting 2 Crystalline Oracles on board would do dick, you know. So, oh yeah, Ravencaller, nice. Like I said, I'm just gonna stick Ravencaller in every deck because I love Ravencaller.
Hey, taunt.
Yeah.
That didn't go as red.
Ravencoller's the best, man. Oh, Primal. That's fantastic.
So we need to
The light
survive for this Holy Nova.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard to clear that.
Yeah.
Okay. He's making good trades.
Oh, you got a Consecration too.
So let's see. 6, 9, 10. Yeah, he's got lethal next turn. Even if I Holy Nova, I still have 10, so all he needs is like Murloc or a weapon or something. Now he's at 11.
Charge, I'm sure. Oh, works.
Yep, that's 13.
Justice demands retribution.
Ta-da! See how good my deck is?
You want to queue up again?
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, we didn't even get, you know, with the hyper aggro like that, we didn't even get into sort of what the deck is supposed to do.
I probably should have mulliganed harder for Spirit Lash, but against Murlocs, Spirit Lash isn't even that good. It's good against dudes, but it's not that great against Murlocs because they all have more than 1 health.
And you're going to see my deck has some of the same problems.
Anduin versus Liandrin.
This bitch's blade
My
burns with
blade
holy
burns
fire.
with holy fire.
The light shall bring victory.
Okay, so we'll look hard.
Oh my god,
Spirit
another
Lash
drone.
this turn. Throw away all my early game.
This makes me a little bit happy to be in Wild. Not queuing against
Yeah.
Paladin all the time.
We have turned our curse
Here we go.
into our strength.
Yeah.
Is someone injured?
Oh, another fun thing you could do if you actually make it to late game is if you can break up your splitting Vesper route and shuffle a ton of 1/1s into your opponent's deck. That's pretty cool. Nice little drag 'em. Do we want the Holy Nova or the Shadow Madness? See, I had to include Shadow Madness because I had no other way to fight for the early game. Like, all we have is Holy Nova. So, let's see, do I want Holy Nova? Yeah, I think I want Holy Nova because I'm a turn ahead. So if he actually plays Call to Arms on 4, then I'll have Holy Nova right after. He'll probably play it on 3 though, but we'll see. Wait, did he? No, he coined. Yeah, so he has to play it on 4.
Acorn Dragon.
Put this apple on your head.
Come on, pretty bird.
My pretty birds.
Well, Argent's alright.
What?
I said the Argent Squires.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah. If I could get Gravel Snout Knight into like Holy Nova, that'd be pretty good. So I don't really feel like taking 10 damage next turn, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bust this open. So do I want to trade with a 4/1? I just want to get rid of that because he can't heal it anyways. This Holy Nova next turn. There's another one. I wish I knew if he had Call to Arms. He probably does, and he's just holding it. So
I think you have to Holy Nova here.
6, 7, 8. He can't play. He can't play what's his face yet. So I think what I'm actually gonna do is Gravels.
I think Gravel Snout's okay. It takes up the space on his board.
Well, if I Gravel
You could trade it.
Stout next turn,
The light protects me.
then I can Holy Nova away whatever pops up. The power of squashling. Yeah. He was waiting to see if I had Holy Nova or not before he played Call to Arms. Which is part of the reason why I didn't play it.
Reporting for duty.
Okay.
So Gravel first.
Yeah. Unless it's something incredible. Oh wait, no, he's got 7, so. And we're cleared! So we might actually live. Probably not though. We'll see. Oh, we made him mad. Gonna start smacking my face soon. Holy Nova! Let's see. Archbishop. Do I want that yet? It would help me fight against his incredibly fast board. And Coffin Crasher wouldn't really do anything. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna do it. Do it. Try it. I know he doesn't want a double trade here. Probably gonna token and play that one guy, Sunkeeper.
Darn.
Yeah. Ooh.
Wasn't it at 8 mana?
No.
Reporting for duty.
Let's see. They probably run like Leroy, right?
I wonder.
No, Leroy's a 5 cost.
Well, I'm saying they probably run it, right?
No, this guy's playing even.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's do. I really don't want to play a Holy Nova, but I still have Psychic Scream, so I think it's okay.
Must consider.
Is someone injured?
Maybe we can Divine Favor this guy. Really upset him.
That would be hilarious. Again.
Ooh, another one. It's weird to me that cards seem to play now.
Reporting for duty.
So now we've got to start healing every turn.
Crash this party!
Or we're going to lose. What card back is that?
Ninja
Your
one.
magic shall not save you. Reporting for duty.
Emilios. Eugh. Light Fuse Stegadon. That's not good. So, I think I'm gonna trade Psychic Scream. Acidic Swamp Ooze.
Yeah,
I
that's-
would like to heal, but I can't let him smack me in the face again.
honestly have. It's been so long since I've seen Ooze actually destroy a weapon. I think subconsciously I forgot it that it did.
He's got another weapon. Okay, so he's got Equality and Light Fuse Stegadon in his hand. Equality, Light Fuse Stegadon. So I could... No, I can't Mirage Color his turn. So he's gonna get the trade. That sucks. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep.
This curse has become our greatest strength.
Reporting for duty.
Hey.
See, he's even, so he doesn't have Righteous Protector. So, probably not gonna do me any good. But let's try
Probably
it.
not, but I mean, I think that's the gamble you have to take.
Yeah. Nope. Nothing good. Oh well. Gotta give it up.
You have best.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, that's about how I feel about Priest right now. It's like,
It's too slow unless you're playing a really fast tempo deck.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think jump into suggestions I have. Card draw, man. Like, card draw seem to be a problem.
Yeah,
Especially
I
if you're
agree.
gonna art Benedictus and put like their stuff in your deck that doesn't synergize with your deck. Like, I would want significantly more card draw, I think.
Give me some ideas.
Oh,
for
let's see.
Since I don't really have a lot of card draw because there isn't a lot, I put card generation in.
Yeah.
Squashling, Crystalline Oracle, Chameleos is kind of, Shadow Visions is, Mind Control kind of is.
I feel like we never really got to see Coffin Crasher like shine.
Yeah,
We never saw a Fester Root pop up, so you know.
It's kind of the idea is that actually against control decks, Fester Root and Coffin Crasher are really good, but they don't do anything for you in a fast game.
Yeah.
You just lose.
That makes sense.
So you're basically just planning on playing against control decks, and you're going to lose the aggro matchups.
Do you think Loot Hoarder would mess up the pool for Coffin Crasher, or do you think it's fine to have more targets for him, like in case you don't have a Fester Root in hand, or?
What worries me more, I think, is just that dropping a 2/1 on 2 is just too weak. There's so much that can trade with it right now.
What about Power Word Shield to give your 1-cost Squashlings the extra little health boost, or since you said people are running a lot of 1 damage style removals.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I'm not sure what I would take out though.
I think Oracles.
Oh, I love Oracles. I want to get rid of my Oracles.
Well, that seems
Maybe
like
Chameleos? Yeah, maybe probably the Crystalline Oracle because a 1/1 isn't that great either.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of times your opponent's deck isn't going to really synergize with yours, and also you've got the Archbishop in there, so you can steal a whole bunch of their deck.
I feel like there's really not a lot of synergizing going on right now, though.
Yeah.
It's mostly just pick the strongest cards and shove them in your deck,
And then you do have Raven Caller, which would generate 4 other 1-drops. So, I mean, you could get those Crystalline Oracles or something, or maybe you would drop something and being able to buff it with Power Word Shield. It'd be nice. You can buff your Cleric to get more cards.
So I could take out Crystalline and put in Power Word Shield. And I think we're still seeing the great strength of Ravencaller, how awesome the cards it gave me were. I know it's something Crip says a lot, just 1-drops are really strong, and I think you can see that a lot of the time with what you pull off of Ravencaller.
Yeah. I think it's, I felt like I said, we didn't get to see the Coffin Crasher and the Fester Root, but, like, looking at the deck, like, I just kind of... I don't know, like a 3-card combo. I don't know. I like the concept of what you're doing there. Like, I looked at Fester Root as well for like the quest. Because, that's just 1 billion. 1 Fester Root is a ton of stuff being summoned for like the priest quest. Obviously it's a freaking 8-drop, so but with Coffin Crasher, I knew you said you were thinking about doing something with it. I think I would have liked to see like more Death Rattle-y stuff, I guess. But
yeah, I guess
maybe
I
it's
could
not
put
in standard.
Obsidian statues or something.
No, I don't know. And like I said, it's standard format, so I think with the whole card pool in mind, so it's even more difficult to try to narrow something down for priest in standard that it doesn't already fit those archetypes. So
yeah, I think the real strength of splitting Fester Root, and I think it's actually going to become a tech card later on, is when you're in a control match against something like Big Mage, where they're running just tons and tons and tons of AoE, it's just so hard to clear. They have to use a polymorph, and if they don't see it coming, then you're just ahead on board for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And and until we get to that primarily control-focused meta, then it's not really going to see that much play. So.
All right.
Your turn.
Now we got subs for legendaries and
Yes.
epics.
Yeah, let's do that.
So legendaries, we got Chameleos.
Chameleos is completely optional. I just like it. I think it's a good card, so I put it in there.
Do you think swapping him out, you need to keep the mana curve down there? Or
I mean, you could just put in a power word shield or something. I personally think, like, when you saw me play, most of the time, I was able to play more or less on curve. And I think that's really important right now because unless you're going to start running dragons, you don't have a lot of clears, so you have to play on curve. Yeah. So I think power word shield or another like strong 1-drop or something is good. You don't really think of Chameleos though as a 1-drop because it's not. You're never going to play it as a 1-drop. But I'm just saying, if you're going to change out any of these cards, keep your curve low.
Okay. And then we got Benedictus.
Benedictus is just to help with the long control matches. I played against a big mage a couple days ago, and it just, like, I played him on turn 12 or 13 when it was still pretty early for, a control versus control game, and he just couldn't deal with it. So once again, kind of a tech card. This kind of guarantees you'll win control matchups. So I would say get something that's also going to get you a lot of value. Maybe Spellstone would be good, or Obsidian Statue is also really good. Maybe another Mind Control is really powerful in the meta right now because of Void Lords.
Right. All right, and then Shadow Reaper Anduin. Obviously, that's one of your nice board clears.
Yeah. Although boards full of 5+ minions don't come up a lot, really it's just like if I actually do go the distance against a tempo or aggro deck, a lot of times being able to start like competing with them, racing for damage in the late game is really helpful. So what could we put in instead?
Well, like you said, there's not a lot of board clears.
Yeah, you could do another Psychic Scream if you wanted. If you had that, but it's still an expensive card. One card that I looked at originally is actually in another one of my decks that I made for this that I didn't end up using, even though it's probably a little bit better than this, but it's less original.
Yeah.
Is I put in 2 Radiant Elementals. And one of the cool things you can do with Radiant Elementals, and this is like getting into the whole other deck discussion, you can do Radiant Elementals and then Vivid Nightmares for like pretty much free and just make like all of your spells cost nothing. And that's a pretty fun combo to pull off. You can't do Infinite Fireballs, but I was actually using it to try and get the weapon to work, but then you have to draw the weapon. But yeah, Radiant Elemental is always a good card to shove in there just because it's a really good card.
Alright. Shadow Visions would be epic to swap out.
Shadow Visions? Shadow Word Pain and Shadow Word Death. I don't think there's really any loss in putting one more of each of those.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because that really what you're doing with Shadow Visions is just increasing your chance of getting something to help you control the board, because all of the cards in this deck are control tools. If you look, there's like no generate value spells. Yep. They're all control the board. So I would just put more Shadow Word Pains, Deaths.
And then Psychic Scream, we kind of talked about. You're out of board clears, so. And then Fester Root is kind of, now with Fester Root kind of being the idea, like, do you think you should have the 2, or was the 2 too much, or?
Well, it's just like I never played 2. Never, ever. And the entire point of having Mirage Caller is that you don't need to play 2. You just get 2. So it's not one of those things where late game you're like, oh, when am I going to draw my Fester Root? Because it's never going to give you tempo. It's just going to give you tons of value that your opponent can't get rid of. You're not going to win because you draw Fester Root necessarily. It's just going to help you keep going and going and going and going. So, it's not like... I mean, it's pivotal to the idea of the deck, but you could sub something else in if you wanted. I mean, if you're going to try and do the idea of making copies of stuff, just do obsidian statues, which are also epics, or, you know, just do something that gets you value. Do moat lurkers. That's not a thing. Voodoo dolls are still expensive, so I don't know. But that seems like a fun combo, though, right? Voodoo doll and Mirage Caller. Well, no, you would only copy the one Death Rattle, so it wouldn't be that good. I don't know. What do you think?
You know, I still like the concept of Coffin Crasher into Fester Root and stuff. I think if I were to do anything, I would just pitch it to you and say, hey, make this work. Maybe the next expansion, you know, maybe if this expansion is not, you know, overwhelmingly great. I think it's a neat concept, so yeah. All right, well, let's jump on over. I'm gonna take the deck list down here. We're gonna cover my deck, which is not any better. So my deck is wild. It's called Egg Whites.
I like that.
And the reason it's called Egg Whites is it is a lady in white deck. Now
I see a theme here.
Yeah, and there are eggs.
That's the theme.
So originally when I first, I literally made like 20 different priest decks. I tried all kinds of silly ass ideas, like play with one minion in the deck, and then
Really, 20?
Huh? Yeah.
Did you really make 20?
Yeah, like different iterations and stuff, just trying to come up with something cool. And the problem that I found is like, I just, you know, the stuff was never cohesive enough. And so this is what I eventually came down to. It's by no means, I don't think it's the best that it can be. But the concept was play Lady in White. So when Lady in White gets played, the cards that come out are insane value. And those cards shouldn't be totally garbage on their own. So that way you can play them and go from there. And I wanted to use the eggs, right? I probably could have made a better version of this deck without the eggs, but I wanted to use the eggs. So I tried multiple iterations, but what we got here is Chameleos is just in there because he's a good card. We've got Shield Bearer, just for early game defense, because we do have some AoEs in Wild. So if the stuff sticks on the board and you're able to stall, that's great. But if this guy gets Lady in White, it's a 1 mana 4/4
With taunt?
with taunt, which is pretty great. We got the 2 egg. No, I got 3 eggs in here. Out of all the, just to show you the rest of the eggs. Let me get my deck list up there. There we go. So Runic Egg, I felt like a 1 mana 2/2 was just not that great. But I used the other eggs. So we've got Swamp Dragon Egg. It's a 1 mana 3/3 with Lady in White, and you get a random dragon. That Nerubian's a 2 mana 2/2, so stat line isn't great, but you get a 4/4 Nerubian, so it's like a 2 mana 6/6 over 2 bodies, which is nuts. And then the Devil Sar is a 3 mana 3/3, basically a 3 mana 8/8 over 2 bodies. So that was kind of the purpose. The cards that go in there need to be insane. If they get hit by Lady in White and you play them later on, and just kind of good anyway. So the problem with the eggs is they don't have any attack. So you can't play Lady in White until turn 6. So you need something to do with these cards if you're playing them out onto the board. So that's where Inner Fire comes in. That is where Unidentified Elixir comes in. Also, Tortolan Shellraiser, you can play as a 4-drop. When it dies, it can buff your egg. You can play Excavated Evil, and it hits your opponent's board, also hits your board, kills your eggs, spawns a bunch of stuff onto the board for you. Same thing with Dragonfire Potion. And then the other critical key thing for this was card draw, right? Because we're playing a lot of low-cost, high-statted minions if they get hit by Lady in White. So, A, we need to make sure we draw Lady in White, so we need card draw for that if we don't get her in our hand at the start. And then once you hit things with Lady in White, you want to draw cards so you can spam all this stuff onto the board. So that's the general idea. I tried this with a lot of different cards, a lot of different concepts. You know, I had the 1/1 copy because that's great on eggs. The summon a 1/1 copy of Death Rattles that died this game. All kinds of stuff like that. But ultimately, trying to fit all those things into one deck didn't really work. Because I couldn't do eggs plus buffs plus other things good with Lady in White plus ways to copy Death Rattles plus card draw plus, you know, control tools for the early game plus AoE. Like, you just can't fit it all into one deck. So this is the version I have. Yeah, there's a couple scenarios against Priest. You just lose a lot of time because they just copy your stuff or steal your stuff or, you know, silence your stuff, and so that's no fun. But we'll jump into a wild casual match and see how it goes.
You have no standard decks.
Nope, but I do. I have your two, but I'm missing a card in each one. So.
I think I almost played against a Toxmonger deck the other day. I was happy.
Oh, also, eggs against explosive ruins are great.
That seems true, yes.
It's like, oh, is that explosive runes? All right.
I think eggs against AoE is just really good.
Versus Gul'dan.
Your souls shall
And this guy,
strive.
he's got AoE.
Immune give me strength.
So really, like, this is a hard mulligan for Lady in White. I will sometimes keep the Northshire Cleric for 1-drop, Inner Fire to buff an egg, or like the Elixir. But really, like, if you don't get Lady in White, like, this deck kind of sucks. It's not the worst thing in the world because you still have Inner Fire and some other buffs, so you can do things with the minions, and they're still good minions when they have buffs on them. But it's way better with Lady in White. Yeah, this is one of my favorite potions for this, because you put this on an egg, and you get multiple spawning eggs. And the reason I have the Elixir as opposed to some of the other wild buffs you can have is because it's always +2/+2 with another upside. And the only one that's kind of not great is the return a minion to your hand.
What about Divine Shield? Isn't that bad on an egg?
No, because it gets the +2/+2.
Yeah, but then it doesn't break.
But you have to you control the board, so.
That's
I don't
true.
have a way to get rid of this turn. I could coin an egg and then Inner Fire next turn. I'd rather have something besides the coin. I'm not too worried about killing this 2/1 with the Shadow Word Pain. I'll save it for something that's more annoying.
Yeah.
So. Next turn, I'll probably drop Devilsaur Egg. That's good. Hey, Hellfire. Well, let's see if he wants to kill my egg.
Job's done.
What she said.
And if he doesn't kill the egg, we hit it with that Elixir of Shadows. And then we have a 2/5 and a 1/1 that both summon a 5/5 when they die.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
tough.
good.
You might win this one. Maybe this is the secret to taking down Warlock. Egg Priest.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Wouldn't that be awesome if that was true, if that's what it was?
So I think we will buff this, and we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this. If he does Hellfire, then, you know, we just get 2 5/5s, so I'm okay with that.
That seems awesome.
My hand is too full.
Hey man, your hand's too full.
Come on, Alarcon.
And we can kill our own eggs too.
He's gonna give up. He does not like these eggs.
He's got a Dread Infernal too.
Possibilities. Unleash me.
Really?
Just going to give it to you.
I will
Nice.
take it. So I'm gonna play into the AoE some more, I think. So we will here. If we heal, it dies to Hellfire, but I also know he has a Mortal Coil, and I don't really want to give it to him. So I'm probably gonna play Egg and then just heal this up so he can't Mortal Coil it.
Okay. Did the eggs make sound when they attack?
Yeah, I think so. It's funny, the Shield Bearer, putting him in here, like, attacking with him, I'm like, man, I feel like I've never heard this before.
Yeah, he sounds weird. It sounds like a different voice actor.
So many possibilities.
He says something like, "It's your turn" or something.
He's like, it's time for the, or, yeah, it's something weird. So we don't have Lady of White in turn 6 unless we draw her this turn, which is kind of unfortunate.
Well, you're controlling the board with eggs, though. How awesome is that?
We got a Dragonfire potion, so I think we're just gonna trade this. I'm not sure. Well, I'm gonna draw a card first.
Pass me that Arclight Spanner!
Okay. Excluded Evil. Trade this. I'm gonna heal this egg. Do I want to heal that? Yeah, I want to heal this egg, so if he Mortal Coils, he does it on this one.
Why do you want him to Mortal Coil that one?
Because it'll give me the 4/4, and that survives Hellfire.
That's true. And that egg can't attack.
Yep. I could Inner Fire it, but that seems like a waste. So he's got a Soul Fire as well. Yeah, this is just I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna win, but this is just an okay matchup because all these AoEs that the Warlock has, they just spawn angrier minions.
Yep.
So many possibilities.
Cool.
So when do you start going face? Is it like late? Do you want to try to exhaust him, or are you going to try to?
No, like you just go face as much as you freaking can, because like if you don't draw Lady in White, like what's your game plan? Like how are you coming back from?
Wonder.
I've got eggs. You know. So we're gonna put down the Shell Razor. I think.
Tortola, preserve us!
Kind of tempted to. No, I think I want to heal this out of Hellfire range, and we know he has an Enforcer, so
Hey, give me a minute!
we'll leave that 2/2 up. That way his AoEs will give me a 5/5.
Not going to Inner Fire the 2/6? Or are you just going to wait until you attack with it?
I'm not worried about it. I want to save the inner fire for possible like burst damage to kill him.
Look at him. He's already down to 11 health with eggs.
The eggs. It's got a lot of cards though. See that hellfire. Or he's just...
Defile?
Oh, okay.
Double defile.
Almost out of time.
Oh.
Whiffed. Oh man.
Starts at 1.
Yeah.
Doesn't start at 2. He's gonna shame concede after that, maybe.
Alright. So now we...
Shells up!
Hey, give me a minute.
Egg priest! Egg priest OP. Blizzard, nerf the eggs.
Alright, well I can't say that that was a great representation.
I thought it was an excellent representation.
Excellent. Oh yeah. But we got to see how the deck is supposed to work, and that's the purpose of the showcase, so I think we're good there. So, suggestions from the co-host.
I don't really like inner fire that much because at most you're buffing up to like a 3/3 or something. Have you thought about putting in Confuse?
I thought about Confused and Void Ripper.
And those didn't work?
I just wasn't sure what to take. The thing is, like, you don't always want to use Confuse and Void Ripper, but you want to activate your eggs. So that's why I put Inner Fire. Or, like, they literally just need +1 attack, you know, to be able to do... That's all I want, is for them to do little chink ping damage against the enemy's face.
Don't say chink.
So yeah, I was looking for like +1/+1. One of the things I did have in was the 2-drop you're using, the Shadow Ascendant, but it's not as reliable.
Yeah, that
So-
seems like it's such a like kill this card now card that you really can't get it to stick.
And another card that I tried, which you'll be happy about, was... Oh, where'd it go? Oh, it's 5 cost. I tried this out.
Oh yeah, Summoning Stone.
Because when Lady in White hits that thing, it's 5 mana 6/6 that generates minions, but literally, it has never lasted. No, one time it lasted because I dropped it and then I played something on the same turn. That's lasting. But it always immediately gets killed, removed, destroyed. You know, nobody wants that thing to stay up. And honestly, a 5 mana 6/6 is not like, oh, look at the value. It's the text which is the value, but, you know.
Yeah, I do love Summoning Stone.
Another consideration I was thinking about is instead of Shield Bearer, Dirty Rat. But the only thing is I'm not quite sure yet whether I want to accelerate getting people's minions onto the board. Like in that game, that Warlock didn't play a lot of those AoE damage demons because he didn't want to kill the eggs. If I just pulled it out for him with Dirty Rat, then that could have changed the game completely.
Yeah.
So, and we didn't get to see the Lady in White, but I'm sure you can imagine if we had been able to play her somewhere in there, you know, you start getting 6/6 Tortolans and 4/4 Inventors and things like that, so... As far as the legendary substitutes, you got Chameleos. I would put in some other kind of buff card if I were going to take Chameleos out.
What about some of the newer 1 and 2 mana cards that give you like +1 or +1/+1? I think it's from Kobolds. or you know, like I don't even know what they're called. The 1 and 2 mana cards. Like not Plated Beetle. What am I thinking of? The 2 mana 2/1, give a minion +1/+1.
Yeah. I don't know what the card
Are
is.
those any good? You said you were trying.
Yeah, I tried everything that had a
Well, those
buff
cards.
thing, so yeah, maybe. And then let's see what else. The other legendary I have is Lady in White. Obviously, this deck is built around Lady in White. If you don't have Lady in White, don't freaking play this deck. I mean, we won without
Oh, what
Lady in
about
White, but,
Lance Gear?
you know, I did look at Lance Carrier. That's another good one to put in there. And if you're not familiar,
It's an old school card.
and 2 mana 1/2 battle cry, give a friendly minion +2 attack. You know, that might even be
Actually,
worth
really
just
strong
putting
card.
in there. The reason that the reason that some of these cards aren't in there are because I was trying to get those big Lady in White buffs most of the
Right.
time. So like
Right.
Northshire I was okay with because of 1 mana 3/3 that draws you cards. It's good. You know, a 2 mana 2/2. You know,
Yeah, it's not great.
like yeah, it's not. It doesn't. That's the kind of the point of this deck is get souped up stuff. And there is souped up stuff you can get that's a much higher mana cost. But when you're trying to synergize with the eggs and stuff, like you want to keep things low and just play out a bunch of cheap stuff. But for epics, let's see. I don't think I've got Dragonfire Potion. Just put in another Excavated Evil if you want, or you could put in a Shadow Word Horror.
You might be able to put in a potion. Whatchamacallit is pretty common. The 4 mana potion mistress. No, not the. You know, she's like a Cabal card.
Oh yeah. Mistress
And
of
normally
Mixers.
she'll give you some sort of awesome AoE.
Another one, like Psychic Scream, is not horrible. Because if you do shuffle some of your minions into their deck, like they don't have the Lady in White buff, and they probably didn't plan around buffing eggs.
Right.
So,
I was thinking like
Psychic Scream's
Treachery
not
would be
bad.
really good, but you're not a Warlock, so.
That's right. So yeah, that is the deck.
Mhm.
So we got one final match.
Oh yeah. I know what the trick is. I know your tricks. Well, let me get back on.
And what are you gonna do to my? I think you're gonna aggro me out.
That's what my deck does now.
That's
Because it's been stomped on so many times. It's like, who's that guy that killed Superman?
Yeah, I know. I can't think of his name. Doomsday.
His name? Doomsday, yeah. It's like Doomsday, where it just keeps dying over and over and gets stronger and stronger to where it can kill Superman. You ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to mulligan for.
You know what I'm mulligan for?
Eggs.
Tyrande versus Anduin.
The light shall
I
bring
think if there's anything
new
fun I
enemy
could do with
strength.
your Lady in White, if I can like steal her somehow.
Dear Lich King to get Death Grip.
Oh, I don't have a Lich King.
Oh, you got one from your opponent's deck last time. Damn it.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, this is a good opening hand.
this is a bad one.
Okay, well, let me watch Skype really quick to see.
Sniping.
Is someone injured?
Oh god.
The light shall burn you.
You are the Shadow's puppet!
This is not good.
Pain, speak to me.
You are the Shadow's puppet!
Bring the pain.
Job done.
That's why that card's in there. Because of shenanigans. Alright. No shenanigans.
No point in healing anything. You don't have any deal 1 damage AoE, I don't think.
Job done.
Did it give you an egg?
No.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's no fun. We could have had back and forth egg battles.
Oh, it's coming.
Shall not pass.
Alright, what can I spam onto the board here?
Tortola, preserve us!
Ready for those egg battles? Do it.
Okay. I think I need to do that, and
Pass me that Arclight spanner!
egg battles.
Shells up!
I see you have a mind control.
What? Are you sniping me?
No, I have Chameleos.
Well, let me say, I can see that you have a mind control as well, unless I'm seeing your Chameleos seeing my...
Yeah, you
My-
are. I only have 1 mind control, so it's your
And it's not in your
Chameleos
hand?
seeing. No, I don't have any in this deck.
Okay, so yes, my Chameleos is seeing your Chameleos. How's
so
that?
You have no information on me other than I have the Chameleos.
Oh, I've had it in my hand since the beginning.
That's
I
fine.
even knew you had that master spell, but I still played into it for some reason.
Seems good.
What is Elun's will?
Shells up!
Hey, give me a minute!
must consider.
Let's crash this party!
Is someone injured?
That's funny.
Hey, give me a minute.
This is the kind of board where I'm like, man, if you have master spell, it's over. Oh, which you can get it from that, can't you?
I can. I didn't. There's your lady in white chance. Get all those eggs back.
What is Elun's will?
The light has betrayed me. The light has betrayed me.
Pass me that Arclight spanner.
Oh, forgot you had that card in your deck.
Yeah, it synergizes really well with Antwin.
Tortola, preserve us!
Yeah, Psychic Scream really got me there.
Yeah.
Darkness speaks to me.
Let's crash this party! You shall not pass.
The shadows grow short.
Pass me that Arclight spanner.
These decks are so weird. I'm just sitting here like, how do you even play against this crap? Lady in white would be nice sometime. No, I should do this first. Messed up my synergies. Oh well, it would have been roughly the same.
Can't believe I just mind controlled an egg.
I got nothing.
You shall not pass. You shall not pass.
Is someone injured?
Job's done.
Messed up my counting there.
You shall not pass.
Reality woven.
Okay.
Let's crash this party.
Unravel.
Right away.
Job's done.
I was like, where did I get that guy from? I was like, oh,
Yeah,
you
I was
shuffled
curious
him
about that
from
for a
your
second,
board.
dude. Oh, that's a lot of energy.
That's funny. I don't know why.
Dude, where's Lady in White? Come on.
Ah, you win, dude. You win.
No. You still gotta get Lady in White.
It's not gonna happen, dude. I got 8 cards in my deck. This is ridiculous. She's probably not. She's gonna hit spells. Yeah. You got this. Nope.
Well, let me see if I get something cool.
Is someone injured?
Oh, I'm not
It was
ending
the
the
psychic
game. I'm
scream,
just saying.
It was just that psychic scream that won
Yep.
me this. Because I didn't have, like,
Well,
I had Dragonfire in my hand for a while, but I would have had to crack open all your eggs for it to work.
I think the psychic scream plus me not getting Lady in White with 7 cards left in my deck after
Yeah.
you shuffled a bunch back in.
Oh, I didn't even think about what a nice little synergy there is. Just ruining your odds with drawing Lady in White.
Yep. All right. Well, that was the Priest deck showcase. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, first off, we appreciate the new subscribers. We've had a couple, small, growing. So we appreciate your views. We hope you enjoy the deck showcase. and that you like our spin on trying to create decks that are both fun and not horrible, and also use the new cards. These deck lists will be up in the YouTube video description. You can check those out on Hearthstone Top Decks, where you're also, welcome to follow us there. Drop comments on our decks. We will answer questions if you have any, about substitutions or, how the deck works, all that kind of good stuff. And tune in next Friday, where we will be showcasing. Boop. It's time to pick.
That's a big one.
Yep, it's your turn this time. So I think at this point, the meta is relatively solved, and we can kind of pick any class, right? And just go with it. So
what I'm kind of thinking, I've had a deck for this class since the beginning, but I actually think we're in a really good place to do Warrior right now.
Okay.
What with all the whirlwind effects and Enrage, even though that's not a thing anymore, I think that's in a good spot right now. So let's do Warrior.
All right. So do you have a deck kind of idea that you think you're going to go with?
Yeah, I'll probably kind of refine the deck that I already have, but no spoilers. No spoilers.
Well, I need spoilers, so I don't do the exact same deck as you.
Okay, well, I will tell you spoilers once the show is over.
All right. And in my case, I mainly I missed out on getting a lot of the Warrior legendaries that I was hoping to get, and I'm just missing a lot in general. So some of the deck ideas I had pre-expansion, I do not have the cards for, so I'll kind of have to start from scratch. I have done Odd Taunt Warrior. That's kind of boring because it's pretty common right now. So we'll come up with something weird. So. All right, thanks for tuning in. That's the show, and we will see you next week, unless I manage to get on here and finish up Monster Hunt between now and Friday. So, thank you. See you next time.